What's up? What's going on Facebook? It's the middle of the week, Wednesday, man. Let's make it happen. We are almost there to Friday. For those of you who celebrate your short-term victory, Friday is underway, man. It is on the way, 2 days away. So when you come in, man, make sure you drop where you're watching from. What's happening, Kimberly? Drop where you're watching from. And let me know what the temperature's like where you are, because we're up and down here in Dallas. It's 41 day, 78 the next day. Who knows? Beach one day. Stuck in the igloo the next day. So we're trying to figure it out, man. We will get it together. And we're going to get into it today. What's going on, Christina? What's happening? Eric, Zip, appreciate all of y'all for checking in. Make sure you share, subscribe, all of those things to make sure that this is spread to all of those people who actually are going to need that swift kick in the ass. So we're going to get right back into it today. What is your story? What is your story? What do I mean by that? Well, basically, I want to know, are you lost in the matrix? What's your story? Are you lost in the matrix? What's your story? I asked that question because a lot of people, I'm revisiting this because a lot of people tend to not work off of intelligence. They work off of stories. Their whole life is all built around stories they've been told. Things that they can't do. You're not allowed to, Zippy tripping. Come on now. Pretty Ricky. Okay. I got my Pleasure P going on today. But no, really, back to it though. A lot of people are living off of stories they've been told. Told that as a black man, you can't do this. As a black woman, you can't do that. Don't listen to the stories. You got to give it a shot. You got to give it a try, 120, 130% try at least, before you just take somebody else's word for it. It's just like you walking outside and somebody tell you, hey, it might rain today, or it might be wet outside, but you actually don't know. You just have the story that someone told you, yeah, it rained, but I'm not too sure. And you take their word for it and you don't go gather your own intelligence. You walk outside with your head down. You walk outside with your head down, something could happen to you. Not paying attention to other things because your focus is on your beliefs. You have no idea whether the ground is wet. You believe that it's wet. You believe you haven't. So you're steadily looking at the ground, paying attention to it to make sure it's not. You're stepping and tiptoeing around. You see those people, they walk around with their head down all the time. People with intelligence walk with their head high because they're either looking for answers or they know it already. So you need to start working off of intelligence, knowing what it's going to take for you to get to where you want to be, knowing what you have to do, what things you have to endure, knowing all the things that you have to line up in order for you to step in the direction where you're trying to go. A lot of people just go off of this wishing well attitude and say, well, I wish that happens for me. I hope that happens for me. I'm going to do it exactly like Zip did it because she said that this is the best way to do it. How do I know that that's the best way to do it? Because Zip said that that's the best way to do it. That might be the best way for her, but it's not the best way for me. I need to act off of my intelligence, know what it takes for me to what's happening, Shailene? Appreciate you for checking in. Know what it's going to take for me to excel, take for me to move forward to where I need to be. It's not gonna be me going and living in Zip's house for a week to a month and putting myself in her shoes and saying, okay, yes, I can be that millionaire. I can make as many sales as Zip does in her business because I actually read the same book that Zip read. That's her mental makeup is totally different from mine. The things that she goes through is going to drive her in a different way that it's going to drive me. You understand what I'm saying? It might take me all the way down in the dumps, but lift her all the way up. So you can't build your life off of stories. And a lot of people want to do this. Well, so-and-so did it, so it's got to work. You got to go off of intelligence. Go off of the things that you know. Every time that I give people information on whole food nutrition, I offer them the intelligence about whole food nutrition, things that make plenty of sense. Things that, I want to make sure that I get the intelligence out to them and not just a story. Because there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories about people's health getting better. People feeling better. Their joint pain is discomfort is going away. Those types of things. But those are stories. Those are stories. So you need the intelligence. You need to come in and find out what's in this actual solution that's causing these people to have these miraculous things happen to them. You got to dive in. You have to dig and find out what it is that's helping them. Not taking that story and running with it, because you're going to do all the things that person did. And that's probably not what you need for your life. That's probably not what you need for your life. Man, matter of fact, drop in the comments, what are y'all eating tonight? Because right now I'm whipping up this soup, this veggie soup, because you know how I get down on the vegan level. So you got your boy sweating in the kitchen. Drop a one in the comments if you cook. If you can cook for one, but no, really, if you cook today, drop a one in the comments for me. I want to know. But that's right, Shailene. You got to do your own research. You can't just take someone else's word for it. You can't take someone else's word for it. I heard Guru said one day, it's just for learning purposes. So if you're religious or whatever, don't get angry at this. If you do, then you know where to find the delete button and move yourself from my page. Not a problem. But this is how it went. There was a guy came in. He came into the most spiritual person in the land, and he asked him. He said, "Is there a God?" And the first time, the spiritual person just said no. He didn't give him any explanation or anything. He just told him, "No, there's not a God." And everybody left, and they went and partied, and they went slap crazy, partied, had a good time, did whatever they wanted to do. Came back the next day. And the same guy came in and asked, he said, you never really gave me any, you just kind of said no and left it at that. I want to know. So is there a God? And he said, yes. When he said yes, everyone's response was, they were all sad, upset, crying, mad. Because why? Because of a story they were told. So these people were told two different stories and their reactions were totally opposite. But what happened was it drew the true them to the surface. It drew the true them to the surface. Instead of going inside and getting spiritual amongst themselves, getting inside of their book of their faith and finding out the information themselves, using this intelligence and going through the facts themselves, they relied on this man's story. Someone told you that he was the most the most spiritual of the land, so you believed his story. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you know what's the story and you know what's intelligence. Thinking that not knowing whether the ground is wet or not will have you tiptoeing around the yard. But if you know, you walk out with confidence, head up, chest out, no worries. So make sure that you are writing your own story and not following one that was written for you. That's all I have for you today. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, so I want to make sure we push on. I got to get back over here and finish my soup. I want you guys to continue enjoying the rest of your night. And remember that whole food nutrition is always the way. Stay happy, healthy, and humble. Peace.